Hi, I'm business reporter Joe Connolly, along with producer Neil A. Caruso. And today I want to introduce you to one of the most entertaining business owners who's known for his fun ads on the radio, Stew Leonard of Stew Leonard Supermarket. Stu, what has been the biggest change that you have made in your business during the pandemic, and how have you adapted to that change?
Well, first of all, I think the big challenge is to keep your team members and your customers safe, and try to make Stew Leonard's appear and to be the cleanest place you can be all day. So I think the big change we've had to do was tremendous triple cleaning at night. We not only we used to just wash down the production areas of the store and a lot of the equipment, and now we bleach it. We do a second round of bleaching, and then we do a third round of sanitizing it with a spray sanitizer. So every single night the store's pretty much sanitized, and then during the day we're active, doing cleaning blitzes. And also, as far as our team members go, we've had to do tremendous amount of education about the COVID. What is it? How do you get it? They were afraid it would be on their clothes when they got home. We had a doctor that we recruited to answer 16 of their questions about the COVID, and we filmed him, and we just constantly keep playing that constantly in the break rooms and everything. So the cleanliness part and the safety part, I think, is the biggest change. As far as the store floor goes, we've seen a big drop in the number of customers coming in the store. They used to maybe come in 2-3 times a week. Now they're maybe coming in once. But bigger shopping carts. You can see them really loading up. They're thinking of what they're going to buy. And also the shopping pattern changed, because I guess with everybody working at home, we got busier on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all of the business wasn't focused on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Although that's sort of pendulum swinging back a little bit now, we're trying to get customers encouraging to shop earlier in the week. And also it helps with social spacing in the store.
How about the online pickup, Stu? Has that been up a lot?
Huge increase in our online pickup. That went up 600%. Actually, it was up to like 1,000% at one time. It's 600. It's sort of leveled off right now. There's little peaks and valleys that you get a little bit depending on the news out there, because people sometimes just are afraid and they don't want to come into a store at all. But our curbside pickup and our and the delivery has gotten very, very popular. And also the other big change that we've seen in the store was we used to pride ourselves. We make so much fresh at Stew Leonard's. Like we'd have a big bins of bagels, with the sneeze guards over them. You could pick your own bagel. That's gone. Yeah. We now do service bagels. The olive bars that you see in all the stores where you could scoop your own olives, that's gone. They're all packaged now. We've our buffets, which we had like 5 or 6 of these big cold and hot buffets in each store. Customers don't want to scoop it up, and plus it's against the law in many states now. So we took all our buffets out, and it's all grab and go. So we're creating a lot of these like a crusted chicken parmesan. People just bring that home and they warm it up. They put some pasta and marinara sauce on it, and there's dinner. So we've noticed our store has changed. We used to have 10 demos a day. People could taste food as they walk through the store. That's gone. We can't do any demos. So the retail environment's changed a little bit. And I think the key thing for businesses today is there's one word I've heard from my friends that have been on the successful side of this. It's called pivot. Yeah. Pivot. If they have, I was down at Peter Luger's Steakhouse yesterday with with Jody Storch, with the granddaughter, and the great grandson David. And I said, "How's it going down here?" And they said, "Well, look at outside. We put all these tables outside with heaters and everything. And fortunately, we've been able to do a really good amount of business out on the sidewalk, which they never did before." So they're pivoting a lot. I talked to some restaurants. It's the same thing. They've put technology in to help them with the curbside pickup at the restaurants. So pivoting is a key.
Neil, what do you want to know about the food business?
Yes, Stu, and thank you for joining Joe and me today. It's interesting how consumer behavior has changed. I'm wondering what the impact the pandemic has on the food supply.
That's a great question. That has caught, first of all, back in March, it caught the food industry on its heels, okay? Because nobody would have expected there'd be such a shift over to retail and consumer goods packaged products. And so we ran out of Pepperidge Farm Goldfish, Bounty Towel, a Charmin toilet paper. And they couldn't make it fast enough. Clorox, another big one. A lot of cleaning supplies. And so there was a real heavy hit on that. Right now, talking to our ranchers, our fishermen, our suppliers around the country that we buy from and locally, they seem to have anticipating a little spike now. So they're all anticipating at least a 20% increase in buffer stock, I guess, an extra buffer stock. And we're doing the same thing at Stew Leonard's. Our warehouses are stuffed. Our back rooms are stuffed right now with product. And we're buying as much of Bounty and Charmin as we can get right now.
Can you get Clorox wipes, Stu?
You know what's interesting, Joe, is that you get them in spurts. You can still get them, but it's like the wine business. You get some really nice wines, and they're allocated because they only produce so much of it. So, you'll get them maybe in different little shots like that, but you just got to get them when they're here. We don't put any limits on it. I know Costco put some limits. You can only get, I think, one pack of paper towel right now, but we've decided not to do that. It's like a treasure hunt. Matter of fact, tell you the truth, I got this off-brand paper towel at my house right now because that's all we had at Stew Leonard's. And I said to my wife, I want Bounty, because I love Bounty. And she said, well, I can't get it at Stew's all the time. And I said, no, I'm going to be on the lookout for it, to make sure when the Bounty comes in, I'm going to grab 2-3 bundles of it and bring it home.
You'll be out there fighting with the customers.
Yeah, but I would say on the fresh side, I feel very confident from our suppliers. And my father always told me something. We're a family business almost 80 years now. And my father said something great to me. He said, Stu, one thing you always remember is take care of your customers. He said, it's so important. He said, be really nice to your customers. Pay attention to them. He said, but there's something else. He said, be really nice to your suppliers. He said, because those are the ones that are bringing the great quality into you. And you want to be like a preferred customer to your suppliers.
So how have you been getting these supplies? Do you personally, sometimes when supplies get tight, get on the phone yourself to a supplier and beg with them or negotiate with them? Or what do you do?
I'm calling them up and I'm on my knees. I owe a lot of favors right now. In Game of Thrones where the guy said, I got to bend a knee. Well, I've had to bend a knee a lot here. And, I just am calling them up and reminding them we're still here. And when the allocations come up, we want to make sure that Stew Leonard's is on the top of their list. First of all, we usually we have a great relationship with them. A lot of these family businesses we deal with, you know, my dad dealt with their dad, and now I'm dealing with their son, daughters. And so we have a nice relationship that way. But also another thing with fresh product, what's really important is to pay them on time. And so we have a very good record of paying our suppliers on time, so they're never, you know, cash strapped like that. So
Yeah.
if they, I feel that if they know we're going to pay them right away, we're going to be a good long-term customer of theirs. You know, I would give some preferential treatment to them, just like I do in the food and the wine store.
Stu,
If I
you
see
mentioned
a big customer in the store, you know, buying regularly here at Stew Leonard's, when they need a favor, you know, I will help them.
What
And
kind of favor would they need?
What kind of favor?
Yeah.
Well, you know, my son or daughter just turned 15 or 16, and they're looking for a job. Okay. Let's see. Now, I tell our people at the store that doesn't mean they're going to get a job, but it just means a gold star goes on their resume.
Right.
Okay, that there's a little extra you got to look at beside just, you know, their job application that they send in. So we'll do that for them. A lot of times there are some allocated. I get some really good customers call me up and say, "Hey, can you put some Bounty Towel aside for me?" So sometimes I got a stack of Bounty Towel in my office, you know, and toilet paper, you know, and you know, but I'll bend over and backward. Sometimes there might be a hiccup and they need something delivered, and I'll have some of our people will go and deliver it to them because they're in a jam. So, and I would expect our suppliers to do that for us too. You know, you know, I think if you're doing business with somebody on the long term and you're treating them well, you're both respectful to each other. You realize both of you have to make a profit to survive. And you can work through whatever little problems they have or what problems we have. I think you get to be up on the preferred list like that.
What a great story, Neil.
Yeah, Stu, you know, you mentioned another product that's in high demand right now, alcohol. And I actually read that wine was in short supply. Is that true? Because of the wildfires, so not just the pandemic, but other outside forces that really impact supply in your store, right? So how do you offset those challenges, especially ahead of the holidays?
Yeah, well, you know what? You know, there's, as far as the wine goes, you know, there has been the fires out in Napa. I've talked to some of our winemakers out there. They said it might be a little bit of a smoky vintage. You know, you get a little smoke. A lot of people maybe aren't even going to harvest this vintage, depending on how close they were to the fires. But overall, maybe Cabernet, California Cab will be a little short for 2020. But they have some delicious Cabernets all around the world. So usually what you end up doing, if there's a shortage of supply somewhere like lobsters in Maine, you end up going up to Canada. You know, so, you know, you can usually source product from many, many different spots around the world. And today the farming in the world has gotten a lot better. A lot of countries are tremendous at Chile, for instance, is for wine. They say it's probably up with Bordeaux as far as the climate and the terroir down there. And so we can always source different. And you know what's really big is tequila right now. That with margaritas, I don't know what happened during the pandemic. Everybody's making margaritas. And so we've had a run on tequila at the store. And you know what was really cool? I just did a little virtual tasting with Bryan Cranston with Breaking Bad. They just came out with the tequila, Dos Hombres, from Mexico, and it's a mezcal, which has a little smoky flavor to it. It's delicious, you know. And hey, you know, I might, you know what? I'll make that available because I asked him as such a successful actor from, Breaking Bad there, I asked him, what do you tell young people who want to get ahead? And in a nutshell, he said, first of all, work harder than the next guy. He said, because it doesn't come easy, and it didn't come easy for me. He said, and the second thing is have passion for it. He said, a lot of people come up to me and say, wow, what kind of car do you drive? What kind of house do you live in? He said, I could instantly tell that they don't have the passion for acting. And so he said, you got to love it, and he said, if you work hard and you love it, he said, chances are you're going to be successful.
Stu, I noticed that advertisements for meats are always prominent in your ads. And apparently, despite new trends in eating, meats are still the big seller and still the big profit item in your business?
Well, you know what? We haven't raised any prices since the pandemic started. I mean, there's always little market glitches that you have coming up, but we have not raised prices in the store. Meat is such a good staple item. The kids are home right now. I mean, what could be better than a hamburger or a cheeseburger? Look at McDonald's right now. So, our ground beef is up. But what we've noticed now with the pandemic, three things are happening, and we're even planning for this for Thanksgiving. One of them is the size of your Thanksgiving gatherings is going to be smaller. We surveyed thousands of customers. 9 out of 10 said they're having a smaller Thanksgiving this year. Now, for me, I had 30 people over at Thanksgiving. My brother and my two sisters' families, and a couple stragglers, like my daughters might have friends that couldn't get back to see their, come on over. So I had all these people at my house, big turkeys, lots of food. Well, this year I'm only having 12. And each one of my brothers and sisters is doing their own Thanksgiving. So now there's 4 Thanksgivings going on instead of one big one at my house. So what we've done, we've cut down on the number of large turkeys, like the 24, 25 pounders, by 20%. We've increased the number of smaller turkeys by like 20, 25%, around 15 pounds, 16 pounds. And then we're adding some turkey breasts, so if you want to just get a little extra like that, an in-betweener, you can do that. So we're planning on smaller gatherings. The other thing we're noticing is, and when you mentioned the meat question there, is we're noticing an uptick in the quality. They want to still make that restaurant-style meal at their house. So we're seeing our porterhouse steaks, our filet mignons, incredibly high in sales, and also all of our prime beef that we offer at Stew Leonard's is going up tremendously. So there's an uptick. We're seeing that in the wine business also. There's more over $30 bottles of wine that are being sold right now. So smaller gatherings, a little notch up in
Is that your cow? Obviously.
This is my phone. This is my phone. Okay.
I thought the radio was on.
It happens to be my doctor, and I'm going to tell you, I'm putting him on hold right now. How's that one?
I'm afraid to know what kind of doctor has the move ringtone.
No, that's important. I even had the younger people at the store as how important it is to get that medical checkup for them every year, even though they feel like they can, they don't even need to see a doctor. But, we really encourage our people at the store to get a baseline, So as you go through your life, you can see if there's any changes in your health like that.
You're one of a kind, Stu.
Well, you know what, Joe, that actually leads into something else. We have a group at the store. Let me finish this other thing. I talked about the smaller gatherings, the uptick in sales, and the other one is I heard some statistics that there were 50 to 70 million people in America that never cooked a meal from scratch. So we're getting inundated with really first-time cooks. And even for Thanksgiving, we're going to write a little thing up, my first turkey, because there's a lot of people that this is the first time they're ever cooking a turkey. You know,
they're stuck
so
inside.
you got to make it simple, and it's not that hard. You know, so we noticed the recipe and the home cooking trend, smaller gatherings, and an uptick in the quality. They want restaurant quality.
Stu, I want to ask you a couple of quick questions, and then Joe can wrap up. Stu, what advice would you have for other business owners in the food industry, restaurants, supermarkets, in preparing for the holidays? And you know, it's really a tough time for them, obviously. So how do you prepare for the holidays? How do you set up a path to recovery as we get through this and hopefully get some treatment at some point in the new year?
Well, I think the first thing I would recommend anybody is talk to your customers a lot right now. There's no data out there that tells us how Thanksgiving's going to be this year. We can't go off 2019. All of 2019 numbers are useless. So it's a new Thanksgiving. It's a brand new one. It's never occurred before in the history of the food retailing. And the only way you're going to get a little handle on it is if you really just say, I'm going to talk to 5 customers a day, and have your people do that too. We encourage our managers to do it. And they'll give you a feeling of what it's like, whether they want delivery, whether they want curbside, how they're shopping, what their Thanksgiving is going to be like. So that would be my first advice is don't sit in an office, because that's a dangerous place to be right now. Because the worst stuff happens in an office because everybody's thinking they got some strategic plan out there. So I would say get on the floor. That would be my major advice right there.
Talk to your customers.
And you know what? Yeah, okay, go ahead. I'll just mention one other thing. We have a little boot camp group. We call them at Stew Leonard's, where they apply to be part of this management sort of, it's like a case study. And so one of the things we asked this boot camp group, it's about 6 people from different stores and different disciplines. We said, what did you notice were key attributes of managers during the COVID crisis? Because we had some rough times. You know, we had to hire 800 people at one time. There was a tremendous amount of pressure on HR. We had tremendous people get quarantined because one person said, "Oh, my barber or something got tested positive, and you got to quarantine our whole receiving department in Yonkers." So here's what they said. They said that the most important things is adaptability. Is you have to be able to adapt quickly, keep a level head. Tempers can't flare during a crisis. You got to rally the team and be their emotional leader. You got to show appreciation, and remember how important all of the people are that are working in the store for you there. And the other thing was raise your hand. You know, if something needs to be done, the great leaders that we saw at Stew Leonard's said, "I'll help you." Even in light of, you know, they were walking into maybe a hot spot or a red zone, they still took the protection, wear masks, and never wash their hands, never touch your face. But they volunteered to go out on the front line of battle. And those are attributes that we garnished from the whole COVID thing. And we're actually going to adapt it into some of our future training at the store.
Did you give bonuses or anything, Stu?
Yeah, we do. We gave everybody appreciation pay back in like April, and we gave them $2 an hour, and we're going to be doing that again right now. The day after Thanksgiving through Christmas, we're going to give everybody $2 an hour appreciation pay. Plus, I'm giving our managers an extra week's pay because, everybody has just really given their heart and soul. We've had to be there for our communities, and you talk about supply and keeping our shelves full. A lot of that was phone calls that our buyers got at night and our managers got at night to make sure the shelves were full for our customers. So right now, I'm sitting here. I feel very proud of our team at Stew Leonard's and what they've done. And I want to show them that their hard work and dedication to not just me, but our customers, has made Stew Leonard shine a little bit during this very, very tough time. And so it's a great time to give them a reward.
Stu, it's always interesting and enjoyable to talk with you.
Hey, we love 880. We love it. We love being on it. And talk about listening to customers. A lot of our customers tune in and listen. So it's a good place for Stew Leonard's to be.
Thank you, Stu.
We appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, guys. Happy Thanksgiving
Thanks,
to you.
Stu.
Thank
Nice
you,
speaking.
Everybody.
You bet. Bye-bye.